Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
So that's what we have done for the adding. So same way, whatever you do for this, so you will have a delete statement as same. It does not return anything, so I'll just return one instead of changing my return type everywhere. So let me just JDBC template update method SQL, and here it's only ID. Same way we can do for updation and then for all other methods. Okay, so this is what here how the JDBC template we will be working on. So where you as your question asked, so if you mess up with a question mark number, what to do? So instead of a question mark, you can go with the other option, which is named parameters. So that is, we have a to work with the Spring JDBC, we have first one which is called JDBC template. Okay, which works with the question marks. Where if you mess up with the question marks or I just want to know the proper names, we have a name it JDBC template. So instead of JDBC template, you inject a name at JDBC template. In that statement, what the query becomes? So query becomes insert into layer values. It will take a names, that is ID, name, age, so that you know for which one which value should be given. So that way the named parameters can also be passed. This is with named JDBC template. Named parameter JDBC template. Clear with this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
If you want to insert into all the fields, you cannot directly give without question marks or without the comma separated
no,
ones. Directly, you cannot pass the object, is it, in this?
you can pass it like one by one. You have to pass it like instead of question mark here only, you can pass here.
No, I mean one by one only you can pass, right?
Yeah.
Directly, if you pass that POJO, it will not map with the column name by
No,
itself and insert. No. Okay.
no, it will not. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what here which we are doing with respect to the Spring JDBC. That is with the JDBC template, we can do it or name it parameter JDBC template. Or if you're working with some stored procedures or something like that, we have a JDBC call to taken care or stored procedure classes are there. So that's the changes with the Spring JDBC. So let me just go to my player app and execute it. So it will be work as expected or as it is previously how it was working. All the list of players was giving and then it was continuing. Okay. So only the development effort is reduced and we have done it with the way of Spring JDBC module. So that is, it's reduced your lot of development effort. That is, you no need to map each and everything. So we can make it as row mapper and can be reused, like either with a player mapper, or if you have all the properties with you, you just do here the mapping with respect to the bean property row mapper. So that's what, how will you do with the Spring and the Spring JDBC? Where with the JDBC, actually JDBC is very faster compared to all other, but I need some relationship mapping with respect to my tables. That is, relation mapping is required. So we have a table and we have an object. And in the table, we have a foreign key, primary key, different constraints. Where in the object, we have a inheritance and we have a has a relationship. In the has a, we have is it one to one to many to many. So we have a different relationships are available with respect to uh, Java. So the table is a different thing which have a different constraints, and the object is with respect to any object programming or the object oriented programming. So where we have a different terminologies. I have to map my object to the table. So what is the solution for this? The solution for this is ORM, which is object relational mapper. Table is called relation in the database, so that is, we'll call it as a relation. The relation and the object. Object, we are mapping with a relation which is called object relational mapper. ORM is a concept. ORM is a concept. To implement this concept, we have a different libraries, which is our different frameworks, which is Hibernate, MyBatis, IBatis, Eclipse Link, Top Link. These are the some of the examples for the ORM tool. It's basically map your object into a relation. You have a entity which have what are all the different type of relations you want to maintain in the table, or whatever the Java objects. I don't know what is table or what is the columns, what relationships are present. I'm very good with the object or with object oriented programming. So based on my objects, so I want to make automatic table creations, or I have to map it to the table, then the solution is called ORM. But ORM is another concept, and for this we have a different frameworks. So in this, which I'm picking is here Hibernate framework. But Hibernate is again another framework which is a solution to give for your object relational mapper. Here we only do it how will integrate Spring plus Hibernate.
I have a question from the previous that queries. Uh,
Yeah,
Maybe I missed it, I'm not sure. Were we saying from which table we need to fetch the data from? Select
yeah.
start
Here
from
we are writing the queries,
such a
no?
flavor. Okay.
Yeah.
Where did we give this play? I mean, this is the table name, is it?
Yeah, it's a table name that we have configured which databases in the driver manager data source.
Uh, Username,
Oracle is
password.
based on the users, no? Oracle is based on the users. I have a system user. In that system user, I have a table
But
called
where
player.
does it say that which table it should fetch from?
It will only say from which database you have to, and in the
Okay.
DAO code, you are writing which table. In that database, which table.
Okay. Okay. If I have to like do some union join operations and all, then that we include in the same query.
Yeah, we can do it.
Okay.
We'll be writing a join query and we'll store the result into a, you have to construct your own object and then you have to store that result.
Okay.
Because here it will return only player object, no? So where if I
Okay. Okay.
do,
Based on the
uh,
return type, yeah, if I might have to create an intermediate object. Okay.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
So here we have to either bean property row mapper or anything, that is we have to manually map it. This bean property row mapper will map exactly how the table and what is your class properties are available. So that is where to go with this ORM properties. So that is, I have a Java object which have inherited classes, or I have a Java object which have like I have a uh, one movie number of persons are watching, so that is one ticket belongs to only one user. So I have a different relationships like one to one, one to many to many, or many to one. And we have a inheritance relationship, so that is one class is inherited from the other class. So we have a different strategies and all in the Hibernate. So in the Hibernate, what is the inheritance strategies and all this Java related stuffs are there, it will map it to your table. So where how we will integrate the Spring and the Hibernate. Basically, Hibernate will give a idea of two layers in our project. The first layer is entity layer, which is actually a Pojo layer, but which will represents your table, and DAO layer. So that is in the DAO layer, we write the Hibernate code. We write the Hibernate code. But to give the database connections to our database, we are using here the Spring. Now we are integrating the Spring framework with the Hibernate framework. How we will integrate it? So first of all, we require a Hibernate dependencies. That's the first step. Second one, how the Hibernate will be working. So Hibernate, like if you want to work with any DB with plus Java, so we require a four properties, which is URL, driver name, username, and password. This is the four properties we required it. So apart from this, so in the Hibernate, so with the any ORM tool, we'll have one more property called dialect. What this dialect will be doing? Dialect will convert your entities into a table, or dialect will convert your Java code into the table code. So that is basically, if you see here in the same method, I'm just taking example here. When I take here, if I want to insert the object to the table, I have to map one by one because it's a JDBC code. But instead of this, like as someone asked in the maybe some time back, so that is, can't we do it with a one object? Yes, we can do it. That is with respect to Hibernate. So that is, we have one method called save method. I will write here save layer. So then this save layer will convert it as a insert query. So that is because Java knows the save method, database no insert query. So this method should be converting as a specific database query, because some queries are differ in the Oracle, some queries are differ in the SQL. So depends on which vendor database you are using, this dialect will convert your code into the statement. So that is, either you want to get only one object, so we have a get method in the Hibernate, or we have something called criteria, that is also will do some job of retrieval. So, and we have some save method or update. If data is present, then it should be insert, else it should update it. So, or I have a remove method. So that is depends on what method I have written. So it should convert into the SQL language or the SQL query based on the dialect. So we have to set the property which is called dialect for Hibernate. So already the data source which is required, this four or the JDBC properties, the driver manager data source is done. But I want to integrate with a Hibernate, so that I want to load all these properties together with one more property called dialect. And Hibernate have a capability, it is not the one of the advantage, but it is also one of the property. That is, if you don't have a table, your Hibernate have the capability to generate a table as well. So we have a property called HBM2 DDL, that is Hibernate mapping to data definition language. Data definition language in SQL means it's a create statement, alter statement, and drop query. These three queries will call it as a DDL. So whatever the Hibernate mapping you do, Hibernate mapping to data definition language, it will be converting. Okay, so your Hibernate code will be converting as a data definition language. It have the capability to generate a table. HBM2 DDL dot auto have a different properties. Either we can write it create or we can write a update. If I write a create, every time when you run your application, tables will be dropped and tables will be created. If you mention a create, you will have a loss of data, because every time when you run your application, old tables will be deleted and new tables will be created. But I don't want the new table should be created. It should only update the records. So if any changes are there, it should update. Then we go with the update here. So Hibernate have a first property called dialect, which is to check or to know, to convert your Hibernate code or your methods or your code into SQL statements, and to generate the tables out of our Hibernate. So that is, we will use HBM2 DDL auto property. In the console, if you want to see what is the SQL query is running, like for suppose I want to see in the debugging mode, I want to see what SQL statements are running. So when this method is called, I have a property which is called show SQL. I can configure for the true, so that it will show what is the SQL statement is executing. All this we can configure in the Hibernate properties. So where with the Hibernate, all these methods are available in the session, but the session as a it is a one code which is to run one query, but multiple sessions to take in care. To establish it, we have a session factory. So in the one session factory, it's based on the factory pattern. We have number of sessions can be opened and executed. So we have to configure the session factory to work with the Hibernate. Hibernate says you go with the session factory. But what is now I want to integrate Spring plus Hibernate. Whenever I want to integrate the Spring plus Hibernate, we have to see is it any bean classes available for the session factory. So the equivalent bean class is local session factory bean. Local session factory bean. In the DAL layer, we'll write all the save, get criteria, all the codes. So for that, we require a session. To get a session, we require a session factory. But the session factory to inject the object in the Spring code, in the Spring ORM, we have a local session factory bean. So we have to create the local session factory bean. So then that we can inject into the session factory. So that's why we will integrate your Spring plus Hibernate. So that is, we require a Hibernate dependencies, and then we require a Spring ORM dependencies. Spring ORM, which is object relational mapper. So first we have to add this dependencies, and then we can do with the coding. Are you clear till this? Do you have any doubts?
You will be showing this in code, is it? You-
Hmm.
uh, Which of these ORMs is better comparatively? You have shown set of 5 ORMs.
Most people use a Hibernate, but some clients use a MyBatters as well. These two are most used in the market.
Okay.
But if you are working on something called JBoss and all, then some people prefer to go with the Eclipse link, because there it's easy to configure with the JBoss. So depends on which libraries you are using, so we'll pick that.
Okay. You are telling this is slower compared to the traditional JDBC template way, right? This is
Because a
slower.
Hibernate will be converted, like when you talk about the performance, yes, JDBC is preferred over the Hibernate. But where you want to provide the mapping of your relations, like you have in the POJOs, like in Java, you will have inheritance and you have all this mapping. So that I want to map my Java objects into the table, then we go with the Hibernate. But where you are performance is very much important, I don't go with the relations, then we go with the Spring JDBC. Because as I know, still GE also in some like in previous when I delivered the batches, people used to say they are working on Spring JDBC.
You can use the row mapper that you told us to configure the relations manually also, right?
That manually we have to do it. No, but here ORM will be taking care of that relation mapping. Because when I create a table, according to the table, I have to create my Java classes. And same way I have to take in care. But where if you, it's a simple table. But if I have some relationship, let me just take in here one example. Mm, okay. If I'm developing some movie booking app, what are all the entities you require here? You require obviously a movie, and then you will have
Okay.
theater, yeah, then ticket, then you'll have customers. So what is the relationship between each? So that is one movie will be in many theaters. One movie will be in many theaters. And for each theater, one theater will have many tickets. And you will have customers, so that is many customers watch many movies, so many to many, so that you will have a different relationships. So this relationships you can't map it in the Java side if you go with the Spring JDBC, because you it will be your own Java objects itself. You will create a movie and in the table you have to represent, like in the table movie ID will be present in the customer, so that is in the customer table, you will have movie ID as a foreign key. You will have it as a foreign key. So that is, if I want to get this particular customer has watched which are all the movies. So that is, you have to retrieve a first customer ID. From that customer, you have to search which are all the movies. So that is, in which are all the movies the customer name is present. So that instead of this, if I want to go away, if I retrieve a customer, it should give all the relations also, so that I can go with a Hibernate or any ORM tool. So because instead of movie ID, so Java will be mapping in the customers class, like in the customer class we'll write here movie. So if it's a many to many, or what is the relationship? If it is many, then it should be a list. Movies equals new array list, or will have many to many. So this many to many will be a annotation from the Hibernate side. So that is, it will configure, okay, one customer, many customers have a many movies. So that is, you want to configure with one to many, so you'll configure with one to many. So this mapping will be taken care. And if you have a inheritance also, so we have some inheritance strategies with our Hibernate. So that is inheritance. You'll mention here how you want the table structure. That is all your children table, like you have a one parent and you have a 10 different childs. So but I want only one column, one table should be referred for all my children. So that is, we have a strategy called single table. Single table means how many number of children you have, that does not matter, but it will create only one table, and all the properties of all the children will be taken and made it as a one table. But I want for each class one table should be prepared, so that we can go with table per class. And we have, I don't want that this way, I want the normalization should be followed, so that I want to make the common fields in the one table, and in all other table it should be a foreign key relationship, so I can go with the joint. Or if you have table per subclasses, that is for each subclass also you want one table, so that is you will go with table per subclass. So different strategies are there, so that strategies you can configure it with respect to your entity layer. So this, all this annotations we will configure it in the entity layer. Same way you want to have an primary key, so that is int cust id. This is a primary key. We represent this with respect to at the rate of id, and customer itself we will make it, it is a entity, it will become a entity here. I want to give the different name for my table, so we'll use here table, will mention what is the name for the table you want to refer to. So that is, it may be only cust. The table name is cust, but the class name is customer. So it is a entity name. Customer is an entity name and class name, but table name is cust. Same way for each column you have a different names to be written. So that is like, for example, here I have taken it as a C name, but in table I want to refer something else. Column, we have here name equals cust name. And what is the length of the column you wanted? So like 25. So, or you want it should be unique. All the properties which we have it in the database. So all this we can mention with respect to the at the rate of columns. And where when you go with the many to many, or if you have one to many, always it will look for the extra table, because many cannot be mapped with a one table. So that is where you have many to many or one to many, it will always refer to the new table creation. So where you go with at the rate of one to one, at the rate of many to one, this both refers to foreign key. But where when you go with it refers to new table, new relationship table. So that way we write our Hibernate code by using all this different annotations to be taken care. Okay. So that is first we'll convert only player. Okay. Once we have done, maybe in next session, I'll take a relationships and we'll make one entities, and I'll show how to do with the Hibernate as well with all the relationships. Okay. So first I required here now the dependencies. Let me just go with Spring ORM. And then we require a Hibernate.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 399 plan and grow your skills immensely.
It's just getting the jar files for us. Yeah, let it download the jar files required for us. So whenever we go here, now with the Hibernate, you want to do it. I will just copy and make it as a new project. It's not taking the libraries. Okay, yeah. So that is here what we have done. So we made it as a Spring JDBC, right? So let me just copy and paste it and keep it as JDBC so that I can upload for you. So here I made it here Spring Player app. So one a Spring JDBC Player app. Yeah. So now I want to make it this with a Hibernate. So first is I want in the Devo implementation, we don't require any of the JDBC template because we want to go with the ORM tool now. So what the changes? So first in the configuration, so after the driver manager data source, we require here the local session factory bean because that is the session factory code which we will be configured it. So let me write it here now. Local session factory bean, which is depends on which version of Hibernate you are using. You can see Hibernate 3.4.5 is there. We took the jar files of Hibernate 4. So Hibernate 4 I've imported local session factory bean and get session factory. It is a bean. session factory object. So what are all the properties which we have to write it for this? So let me just return session factory. So first I have to get the database connection which is there. So that is session factory dot get set data source. So that is the get data source method will return. After that, we have a properties which is to set, which is set Hibernate properties. That is, you can see here session factory dot set Hibernate properties is there. So first we have to create the Hibernate properties. That is, I will go with here properties, which is from java.util package of sequels new properties. What are all the properties which we have to set it? We have to set the mandatory dialect. Apart from that dialect, nothing is mandatory. Okay, so that is props dot put, which is a hash like key value pair. So the value key is hibernate dot dialect. Hibernate dot dialect. We are working on the oracle, so that we have to get here the oracle dialect. So let me just search for oracle dialect. See, we have oracle 10G, oracle A type, and common, which is oracle dialect. So which is available at the package of org hibernate dialect. Oracle dialect we configured. So this is the only mandatory property. So I just made it here the props. Just I will add one more property if any SQL queries are firing. So I want to get this SQL query. For that we have a property called show SQL. So that is hibernate dot show underscore SQL. So that the property which I have to set it for a true, because by default it's a false. So where in the Hibernate, we have to map our entity with our class. So that is here, the Pojo is there. So that is we have to map it. It is not a Spring layer now. We are making it as a type of entity. For that, we will use it here, entity annotation, which represents here the Java type, which is of a type of table. So then whenever you go with the entity, mandatory your entity should have a one ID. Without ID we cannot, because Hibernate follows the normalization principles as well. According to second NF, mandatory primary key should be there for each table. So that is for each entity class you should have one mandatory primary key. That's what we made it here, entity and the ID. So then already we created here now session factory, which we have to use it in the player Evo implementation. So that is, now I'm not going with any of these things with respect to our code. So that is what we do. We required here now session factory from the Hibernate. This is auto wiring. Whenever you do auto wiring, the name should be same. So that's why the session factory here, which is the same object which I'm returning, and the method name is also same, get session factory. So because we are auto wiring by name here. So auto wiring happening here. So auto wire session factory. So how this methods will be constructed here now. So that is, we go with here. First, we have to get the session for this. Session equals session factory dot If you want to open a new session, can be opened, or if already session is opened in the constructor, we can get the current session also. I'm just opening a new session. After that, I'm getting here, the method is there called get. So get method, what is your entity, which is player dot class, and what is the property which we want to set it, ID. So it will be written here the player. So I'll take it to the player P. It should be typecasted. And written. And if you're opening a session, you can just close the session. So like this, you will write your Hibernate code to be taken care of. Okay. So like this, you will be writing your Hibernate code should be. So you no need of any SQL statements to be written, all those stuff. So let me just come here to another methods. So that is, we don't need to write any of those things here. So we just get again the session equals, and always whenever you do the DML operation, so it should be committed. So for that we have to configure the transaction. So that is, we have to begin the transaction and then we do the object save, that is session.save method. The object will be inserted for this. So that is session.save. After that, you have to commit the transaction, that is get transaction dot commit method. Then I'll close here the session. So this way we have written here the Hibernate code. And then same way you just have to retrieve all the values. So what we will write it again, for retrieval job, we no need to write the begin transaction and commit transaction because we don't require it here. So that is session dot, when you want to get the list of items, so that is you have a create criteria. So what class you are, persistent class, your persistent class is player. So player class that you are expecting the written as a list. So that's what here we are writing list. So which is directly you can just do the
That
return.
begin transaction and commit, is it for kind of like locking a table or something?
No, it is to commit your transaction. Whenever you execute any DML operations, it is by default set auto commit will be false. Committing will not happen. So to make your changes are permanent, we have to do commit. You have
Otherwise,
some,
the just the save will not save the table.
no, it will not save the table.
Okay. It
It
will
will
just
not,
write into a row.
yeah, it will only write into the row, but it does not save into your table.
Okay. So does this also take care of like someone else accessing the table, or we have to put an explicit lock or something?
No, we like in which scenario you're talking about?
Suppose somebody is writing into the table and someone else is parallelly accessing the table data.
We can configure it with a not concurrently updatable. All the properties can be configured.
Okay. Where should we configure those properties?
With a Hibernate transaction management, we can configure it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what here we write session, which is taking here the P object, and only that object we are just going to delete it. Again, for deletion also we have to do the committing. Whenever you do any DML operation, either insert, update or delete, so to make the changes permanently, so that we go with this delete and all the statements. So same way which we can go it here. Just to not to write all this stuff. So that's what here we go with the session factory. Okay, so that is whatever the session factory which we have configured, this should be auto-added here that we have injected. Okay, so then in the player we will make it it's as an entity to represent it's an entity class for our table, so it which will do the mapping for us. So now when you just all other layers are already we made it to the Spring layer. So in the player application, so as it is, it works. Whatever the methods you have written, that methods you can see all the Hibernate also loaded. Like you can see the Oracle dialect and the using default transaction strategy. And then now just give here the ninth option. So that is it is okay, giving list of players. Why it is not returning? Oh, I guess I have all the constraints to be taken care. Okay, ID is invalid. Our condition is failing here. Okay. So here it will be, let me just check it out. What is the code I have commented? Is it everything I've done in the same project? Yeah. This is my player Bevo implementation. Yeah, it is returning all players here. Okay, there is no records are present, so it's given a empty list. Okay, so that's what it's given here, the empty list. So where I don't want the like I want the table should be created if the table does not exist. So like let me just go to my entity. Okay, so one more thing I have missed it. Yeah. So whenever I'm going here, so let me just go to the system database, and which one I'm using, system, right? Yeah. There are records are present because in previous run we got some records, right? So there are 3 records are present, but the records are not coming here when we added a Hibernate. Why is it so? Because in the app configuration, where is our app config? So we have to inform to this session factory, that is we are representing this class. So that is we have to mention to scan this entity. So that property we have to set it here, which is called session factory dot set annotated classes. What is the annotation class which contains the annotation called entity? That class we have to load it here. So that is player dot class. This class have a entity annotation that we have to load it. If you have number of classes, like for suppose if you have some 20 entities, do I need to register one by one? Not required. In that case, we can write set package to scan. You can mention here what is the whole package where you have your entity layer that you have to scan it. Either you can mention the package name here, which is com dot training dot model or entities, or we can mention one by one each. So that is the session set annotated classes, which is player dot class. So after this property setting, let me just show to you. You can see now the records are retrieving here. Okay. So one, as I have, you can see Hibernate select statement is also printing because we have added the property here in the app config, which is show SQL. Show SQL is a property, so where it will be displayed here, what the properties which you have it here. Okay, it will display the SQL statement. So without the package scan, we can't get the records. So we have not, like I have purposefully missed this, so that's what it was not coming. So are you clear with this project now with the Hibernate integration?
Yeah.
So now the same project, if I want to make it into Spring Boot, till now we made it only Spring and the Spring DAO, Spring JDBC is added. But here we have to do all these configurations to be taken care. This configuration is completely removed in the Spring Boot. As like yesterday, I have given a simple definition for a Spring Boot as Spring Framework minus configuration is called Spring Boot. It have a starters. Spring Boot have the starters, that is we no need to add the each and every dependency. See, like if I want to go with the Spring ORM, I have to add the Hibernate dependency, I have to add the Spring ORM, and if I want to go with JDBC, I have to add the MySQL and Spring JDBC. Each and every dependency we have to add it. But for each of our one module, they converted as one starters. So given it as a starters, you want to work with a Spring Web project, you go with a Spring Web Starter. So then it will include the REST API, it will include the theme leaf. So it include which are all required for your web programming to be done. So everything is given in the one starter, which is Spring Web Starter. You want to work with only web project. I want to work with Spring ORM. Then you go with Spring Data JPA. So this will include your Spring ORM, Spring JDBC, and your MySQL, or like the driver you have to mention anyway. It is MySQL or Oracle. So, but other all dependencies will be reduced. So basically, Spring Boot is a simplified version of a Spring framework itself. So if you know properly the Spring framework, so Spring Boot, it is not a major challenge, only the configuration will be reduced with a Spring Boot and still lesser code will be written with respect to the Spring Boot. So that is now the same project I want to convert into Spring Boot. What we do? So for the Spring Boot, we can go with the Spring Starter project. We have a Spring IO website where we can initialize it. Spring Starter project. Either we can go to this website and do it, and you don't want with Maven, you can go with Gradle, and what Java version, I'll take a 8. And you can develop a Spring Boot with Kotlin or Groovy or Java. Here we are using a Java itself and Commodore example. Then I'll go with the next here. 1 second. I'll make it here. The project name is Spring Boot Player. So it gives what version of a Spring Boot you are using. So never we should not go with the snapshot versions because it may have some errors or it may have a bugs. So we should work with without the snapshot. I'm just taking here 2.29, and what it gives all the different starters here. So you want to go with only a Spring ORM. So like here, when you go with here Spring, you want to go with Spring JDBC. We select here the JDBC API, or you want the Spring database. So that is, it's have some in-memory database also, which is called H2 database. This is basically used for a development, so not for the running, means not for production. It's only for development purpose. H2 database, or you want a Oracle. So select here Oracle driver, and we want to go with the Hibernate. On the Hibernate, there is a one small picture which is JPA, Java Persistence API. So, well, I will select here Spring Data JPA and select here Spring Data JPA. So that's all. I have selected only 2 starters now, and I'll go to next and finish. Still the project is getting created now here. Yeah, let it create. So whatever the Spring Hibernate player or what we have written, so the same code can be used here. So but with a still lesser configuration. How the configuration will be reduced here? So because the total all the configuration classes in the Spring Boot will be taken care by one file which is called application.properties. Either you can go with the properties file or we can go with YAML file. YAML is also, that is yet another markup language, which is one more markup language. So where for the configurations, either you go with properties file or you go with application.yaml file. So where you have done in the Spring, like yesterday, where you created your Spring a file, you have to load it. But here, Spring Boot does not require any configurations to be taken care to load it. If the property name is application.properties or application.yaml, it automatically picked up this file. So let us just look into as the project got created. Yeah, you can see in, I guess still it is creating only. You can see in the resources we got application.properties. Inside the application.properties, you just have to mention it what properties you need to write it. Okay, you no need to develop an entire configuration class. And whenever you develop a Spring Boot project, you can see what all the dependencies it took. So that is, it took here Spring Boot starter parent. So then when you go here, this is the dependencies which added here. So based on what dependencies will be available here, we have Spring Boot Starter Data JPA. If you run your project, it will see you don't have a URL configured for this. You have not configured any URL for this. But how it knows URL should be configured? Because you have mentioned this library should be mandatory. That is the starter. The starter will be lookup. Depends on what is the starters you have configured. That properties will be look in our application.properties. And if that properties are not configured, then it will throw the error. So this way, the Spring Boot application will taken care of your dependencies with what the properties you have to configure it. So like within this, let it download. This you can use it as a handy so that it will have all the properties to be taken care. I'll just share this. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that is all the properties which is required. So that is the various properties which is specified in your application. So that is all right. So that is depends on which module you are using, like you're working on the code properties. So if you go to here in the documentation, application of properties, all the list of properties which we can use it in that property file will be showing here. So like let me just go to a property which is called URL. So Spring data.rest page parameter name or in the data properties. Yeah. Like which database you are configuring. Spring.couch database, the Couchbase connection string, or you're working with SQL properties, or you have a Hibernate properties. So you want to go with MongoDB. You can see Cassandra. So what type of? So that is Spring data source as a one property. Let me just show to you. Yeah. Spring.data source, you have a data password, you have DBCP, which is also a one connection pooling, and then you have a URL, username, password. All this are the properties which can be configured when you are working. So that is, you can see Hikari data source is there. So DBCP is there. So that is a lot of other properties with respect to SQL or any database properties. The same way you want to take in care with the transaction. So you have a transaction properties to be configured, and you work with security. You have a security properties to be taken care. And when you actually do development, we will be having up active profiles. That is which profile should be picked up. Like you have some properties for the development, you have some properties for the production, you have different properties for the QA for testing. So you will create three different properties like test properties and dev properties and the production properties. So during what runtime environment or where you are running depends on that, it should automatically pick a profile. So for that we have a code property which is to configure the profiles here. So which profiles is active, that is Spring profiles is active, comma separated list of active profiles you can be configured. So then it will be picked up that particular profile itself. So like basically will be used for development and will be used for our testing and all. So that's what the simple introduction to the Spring Boot. What the Spring project we have done. So and we integrated the Hibernate. Everything is same. but only the configurations will be not writing will be taken care with the application or properties with the YAML file. So are you clear with the today's session?
Yes, will you share this code?
Yeah, sure. I'll upload everything.
Okay.
I'll upload it to LND Cloud. You can get it.
Okay. And in short, what is JPA and where does it come into picture along with this Hibernate?
Okay. See, Hibernate is a library. It is not specific to Java or something like that. It's a one API. So where instead of a third-party tool or any library, I want which is related with the Java itself. So Hibernate is on a very big picture. Inside a Hibernate, there is a small unit which is called JPA, Java Persistence API. And when you see inside a player, I have not imported here the entity annotations of Hibernate. I have taken the Java Persistence API. That is Java X persistence entities have taken. In the big
Oh,
picture of a Hibernate, you have a small unit called JPA. So again, in detail, I guess in tomorrow or day after tomorrow session, we'll discuss.
okay.
That means JPA is a submodule of Hibernate, is it?
It's a one of the implementation. Hibernate is a JPA implementation. JPA is
Okay,
like kind of principles given.
okay.
It's a one of the specification to work with Hibernate. So, how was the today's session? Is the space good?
Yes.
First half was a bit slow, I think. Otherwise, it was good.
Yeah, because I just imported wrong package. That's what. So otherwise, it's good. Is the space okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
this
then
was
tomorrow, yeah, okay. So then tomorrow we'll start with our Spring Boot. First, we'll make this project into Spring Boot. At the same time, we'll discuss more into what is this JPA and how this data JPA will be doing. And at JDBC you already see, but the same thing how with the Spring Boot, it will be not much difference. Only the uh, configuration, like instead of config file, we'll write in the application or properties. So a complete the entities, how the relationship will be taken care. So that Hibernate one and joins. So entire DAO layer and our entity layer will be discussed tomorrow.
okay. Can we
Okay.
once again look into that, whatever the topics we are covering in these 10 days?
Yeah, sure.
Spring Boot. Tangama, you want to make any changes?
What is that Spring MVC time leaf?
Timeleaf is a one template actually that is to work as a view layer.
Okay.
Like we work with JSPs, no? It's hard. So theme life will be a kind of templates. It will be a more into HTML code, but uh, how we use a JSTL tags, the same way here will have some different form and Spring tags. So it will make the user easy.
Okay. We are actually aware of RabbitMQ and all. Maybe that those sessions you can just do it quickly. RabbitMQ and then Swagger.
Oh, that you already know. Okay. Yeah, anyway, yesterday
Yeah.
these two said they wanted more on a Spring Cloud so that instead of working on a Spring with RabbitMQ, so that we can have 2-3 sessions on the Spring Cloud, right? That's what yesterday we
Yeah.
We
discussed on.
can have RabbitMQ. Maybe we can have a bit quicker session.
Okay. Maybe instead of 2 sessions, I'll just make it like 1 hour session like that. Then we go with
Yeah,
the Spring.
yeah.
Yeah, that Swagger and RabbitMQ, both of them you can maybe finish quickly.
Oh, okay.
Like
Sure.
we use it, but some things we just use it. Maybe we don't know so well.
Okay, sure.
Spring Boot batches.
That is batch, how the batch jobs will be taken care.
Achha, okay.
Job schedulers, all those things will come under batch.
Okay.
I think this contains are good. Yeah, thank you. I think
Yeah.
we should be fine, right? Yeah.
I know no changes or anything should be added. Like as you asked, I'm just that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Okay, sure.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.